Hey everybody, this is David at Homestead Hacks. Look and see how the catfish are eating. These catfish right here will be growed out and harvested for next year. Right now they're probably 6 to 8 inches long. See if we can move in an angle where you can actually see them. Of course the ducks eat with them, but there's some big catfish in there too. And they actually they'll come up underneath the ducks and the geese and scare them because they're so big. And they'll actually bite at their feet. It's kind of funny to watch. But these right here, these were born last year. So it takes about 2 years to grow these out from birth. Maybe you can see them a little bit better at the lighting over here. I just had put a whole scoop, you can see that scoop right there, full of floating catfish food, and they eat it up pretty quick. It's getting to where they almost need 2 now. But that's what it's going to take to get these growed out to be able to harvest next year. And the ones that are in here, I probably have about 6 big breeder catfish that I won't pull out next year. They are for breeders only. And look at that. All that catfish food I put out there, I'm going to have to put out another scoop. Okay, I got another scoop to put out there to them. Let's watch and see if I can get this a little bit closer. Maybe we can see it. There's another whole scoop. They're getting too many of them. And they're getting too, well, not too many, the same numbers, but they're just, they're getting too big. And they're eating that fish food up pretty fast. Watch Lizzie, the bee dog. She loves the water. The pond's down a lot. It's down about 10 or 11 inches. We have not had hardly any rain. Now they always say, when it comes to feeding fish, the rule of thumb is to feed what they can eat in 5 minutes. So if you throw out a bunch of food and it takes them longer than 5 minutes to eat it, then you got plenty out there. But if they eat it quicker than 5 minutes, it's time to throw more feed to them. So right now they're going to start taking 2 scoops. And that's probably about a half a gallon scoop. So they're going to take at least a gallon scoop per day now. And we're feeding that Purina floating catfish food. It's got a lot of nourishment in it. It'll get these fish growed out. Now, whether it saves you any money when you buy fish, probably not, unless you got some natural fish food to feed, which we will do that in the spring. But right now, just feeding mostly just, grain food from the floating catfish food. So, but the quality of the meat is what you're looking at. Now you can, if you have a big pond, you can do it more naturally with a bluegill and such. But our bluegill population has dwindled way down because of these catfish. So now when you see these catfish emerging, you don't hardly see any bluegill. There's a handful, there's a few, but these catfish have been feeding heavily on our bluegill population, so it's really hurt our bluegill population. So next year, we'll have to pull out a bunch of these and harvest them in order to regain balance back to our bluegill, because we got way too many catfish in here and growing catfish that will overpopulate the pond if we don't pull a bunch of them out. So then it'll just be us feeding them in order to keep them alive and growing good, and you don't want that. So what we'll do, we'll pull a bunch of them out next year and harvest them, and the bluegill population will rebound after that. But right now it's low. I can tell, but just because when you feed them, you don't see them coming to the top as much, not near as much. So that's just another little tip from Homestead Hacks about growing out your catfish for food harvest. And don't forget, please help share our videos. Click on the little bell, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching Homestead Hacks.